What's up? What's up?
What's going on?
What's up, everybody? Another episode of James Massey Live, where we're interviewing agents that's making a huge impact, not only just the real estate community, but also impact in the community in general, in and of itself. And we do these every Thursday at 11 o'clock, and I'm here with my good buddy Trent Dunn. What's going on, Trent?
What's going on, James? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So, obviously I've known you for a minute, man. Like going back to Raider days, back in Stone Mountain. Went to high school together, you and your brother. But both of us kind of made this journey into real estate, man. For those that don't know, tell us, how did you get into real estate, and what was the process with all of that?
Yeah. So I got started in real estate around 2003. And this was a time period where you could get loans without having, any income, stated income loans, no doc loans. So I just took advantage of that system at the time to kind of get my feet wet in real estate. I didn't have a lot of income at the time, but I was able to get a couple of rental properties. And that's how I got started, by just leveraging my credit. And then the market crashed. So I had to live through that whole, market crash, the whole market crash period. And a lot of my properties ended up being upside down because they had adjustable mortgages on them. And I lost a few properties and had to, reestablish myself and come back, reestablish my credit, and just start getting things back on track. And I was able to take advantage of a lot of deals that came around 2010, where properties were selling for pennies on the dollar when banks were just trying to get rid of REOs. So I was able to get a couple more properties, do some flips, and then me and my brother Darian, we started working together around 2010, and we started kind of joining forces and trying to going in on properties together, doing rental properties and flips. And we started doing multifamily in 2014, and then started just really establishing our company to do single family, multifamily properties, and focusing on like affordable housing and making sure that we are being responsible landlords and being able to find opportunities in areas that we grew up in, and also other areas and parts of Atlanta. So we do acquisitions. So we're a fully integrated real estate firm now. We do acquisitions where we buy multifamily, we buy single family, we do portfolios. We also will do property management. So we manage all the properties that we acquire, and then we do sales where we do residential and commercial sales. So that's how we've been doing it. Right now, we're really focusing on, working with agents and building up their business and partnering with them to take advantage of a lot of opportunities that are out there.
Man, I mean that's a lot in of itself. Just the fact you're talking about being able to partner up with other real estate agents for opportunities. I know for me, I actually started off initially as a real estate investor, just like you did. But you all have just like taken some things and taken it to the next level with the number of properties that you all have been able to acquire, and then also to manage and things of that nature. Getting into like some of the nuts and bolts of things, what are some of the things that you're doing to kind of help real estate agents to get into to ownership aspect of it? Because you know how it is. A lot of agents, they don't ever really get into where they're owning properties. They might help a investor to find a property or something like that, but themselves never get to own. What are some of the things you're doing to help with that situation?
Right. Well, yeah, it's definitely first understanding, equity and ownership is important. You can only, earn so much commission. You have to have a retirement plan. You have to have a way to make passive income. So understanding that, and what I usually suggest to real estate agents or people that are in real estate is find ways to create more income doing what you're already kind of doing. So what I'm doing is trying to partner with agents. So when they typically will come across a deal, or they see an opportunity or property that they normally would send to one of their investor clients, I'm trying to change your agent's mindsets to start thinking like an owner, start thinking about equity first, and then kind of see, is this an opportunity that I can take advantage of, or is this something that I just might want to put on the market and sell and get a commission? So I want agents to think beyond just a commission, start thinking about equity, start thinking about ownership. And what we're doing is providing training so agents can understand, this is how I find a deal. This is how I find motivated sellers. This is how I work the numbers so I can understand how the numbers play out. This is how I kind of put an estimation on what I would need to do to rehab a home in order to put it back on the market and sell it for a profit. So what we're doing is providing education, providing training, and then also providing capital resources, which is the most important piece of what we're doing here. Is most agents, they don't have those resources to take advantage of these opportunities that they may come across. So they don't have the capital to purchase these homes. They don't have maybe the credit. They might not have the resources like contractors and vendors to be able to rehab properties for them, or the oversight and the time to oversee projects and to be able to see it from beginning to end and make sure everything's executed properly. So what we do is bring in our systems to help agents with all of that back-end process, and we cut agents in on profit, where we're saying if you were to find a deal and there's enough room in the deal where there's enough profit, then we'll be able to come in, purchase the property, make sure that you still get paid a commission, and then we also will manage the entire rehab process and the sales process and cut you in on up to 20% of the profit. So we're allowing agents to be able to be involved in that process as much as they like to, so they can learn and understand the process from beginning to end on how to locate, rehab, and sell a property for a sizable profit, and not take on any risk and not take on any of the liability that might be involved in it, but still be able to earn profit just like an owner. So the goal is for you to earn more, save your money, and then be able to do your own deals where you can invest your own money, and then be able to manage property, manage a rehab process yourself. You know.
Man, that's a big deal. I mean, just think about, like, we was coming up, we had all the quote unquote gurus where they used to charge all this money in order to teach you some of that stuff. But like right now, you're just basically saying, hey, just connect with me. I'm gonna find some deals or show you how to find some deals, and I'm gonna show you how to actually work the process on your own.
Absolutely. That's it.
Man, all right. So just to kind of give like a little backtracks of just experience in of itself. I mean, you all have been just doing investment properties and investing in real estate for a long time now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So been almost now 20 years almost.
Yeah. So I mean, just the experience of being able to work with you and do some of the stuff that you've been able to do for an individual agent. I mean, I would imagine that would be huge.
Yeah, definitely. And again, working with distress, we kind of work with distressed sellers, distressed properties. So that's something that you can build a whole book of business on. Or it could just be something that you add to your arsenal. So most agents, you're getting your leads from your warm market, friends and family, referrals, and some of the basic marketing that you might be doing to kind of bring more leads into your business so you always have deals to work. What we're doing is saying something like, this is something that you can add to your arsenal. You can be intentional about finding these sellers and finding potentially distressed situations. And these are people that you're actually helping and you're providing a great service to, because a lot of these people, they need the help. They might be experiencing foreclosure or a pending foreclosure. They might be having potential liens against their property or from their HOA, or they might be facing some judgments. So what we do is we have a database and a data feed that we work with agents so they can have access to this data and be able to look at people that have these levels of motivation. So if they do come across some of these leads, they can contact them and reach out as a resource to be able to say, hey, we have an option that can help you. Because the reality of it is that like right now, a lot of people are going through a lot of issues. There's layoffs, there's pay cuts, there's rising interest rates. There's a lot of situations and issues that can keep people that can depress people's income, and their situation can get worse where they could potentially lose their home. So the mindset is a lot of these people are kind of afraid of what's happening, but they need help and they might not know there's help and resources out there. So what we're doing is allowing agents to approach some of these types of seller leads and say, hey, we have a resource and an option that can help you. You know, we can come in with a quick cash offer. We normally can close within about 5 days, and we can get them cash in their hands even prior to them moving out of the home. So we can coordinate them moving out of the home and give them time. And we're sensitive and have empathy for those people that are going through these situations. So we're truly making this a win-win situation for both distressed sellers, for the agent and for us as investors, and for the agent as an agent, just to earn a good solid commission on a property that they were able to source. So it's a really great program and a really great situation for everyone. And it really helps people during these trying times.
Now, are you all encouraging agents? Because I mean, I'm just thinking about like just the possibilities of what this thing can look like. Just as a marketing part of it. I mean, if I was an agent, I would be actually marketing that system. I mean, I would be putting on my website, on my social media, business cards, whatever, guarantee, offer in 1 day or, to a 48 hours. I don't know how long you all take to
Yep.
do the offer, but I mean, you can put that stuff as a magnet because now you have a partner that you can connect with in order to make something like that happen. But see, like before, a lot of agents used to put that out there and they'll say like, hey, the guaranteed sales because you got other little, places that they can get like an investor that'll buy or whatever, but they had
Yep.
no skin in the game. They
Right.
had no, the investor made all the money, you made a little bit of commission. But now they have the opportunity to actually, make some commission, but also, like you said, have real skin in the game. 20%, that's a good number.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's definitely a marketing tool. So, being able, so it's similar to how Zillow, Open Door, a lot of these people say, or we have, a large real estate agent, Mark Spain, has billboards everywhere. It says, guaranteed offer, we get you guaranteed. We're able to allow agents to have that same offer. And the biggest difference is that instead of you approaching Zillow and you're saying, hey, let's see what kind of offer they give, what we do is we're very hands-on. It's a very hands-on approach. So we make sure sellers get a very strong, fair offer, and we stick to that offer. Typically, we always stick to the offer that we first provide versus how Zillow and some Open Door may do. They might provide an offer and it looks really great. Then they come and assess and evaluate the property. And then they come back off that offer about 50,000 or so, or 20, 30,000 based on what they see in the condition. And they have all these fees and a lot of things added in there. So then you don't end up getting the offer that they initially pitched to you. Whereas our offers are a little bit more solid. There's something that you can count on. We're super hands-on with the process. It's not detached and it's not automated. We'll actually meet with the seller, go to the home, evaluate the house, assess value, and then be able to reassure that offer with guarantees and no contingencies. Usually we'll do no appraisal, no contingency, no due diligence. If we're able to get into the home, see it and evaluate it, we can get sellers a really solid offer that will most likely beat out what you might see come from Zillow or Open Door, some of these other iBuyers. So we're putting this tool in the hands of agents. So now you're not just using this to represent Zillow or one of these other iBuyers. You're doing it for yourself now. So this again is what I was saying about having that ownership equity mindset to say, when I present this offer, I'm presenting it almost on my behalf. So what I suggest agents do is when you're approaching, you're talking to potential sellers saying that, hey, I'm a buyer. I'm also an agent because you have to legally disclose that you're an agent, but you're saying I'm a buyer, I'm an investor, and I'm looking to purchase this property. So I'm training agents to be able to present and talk to sellers with that confidence, knowing that you have our proof of funds, you have our cash offer on deck and available to be able to present to potential sellers, and know that you're going to be a part of that deal if everything works out. Now, if the numbers don't work out and it doesn't seem that much of a profit potential, that's still a potential listing for you. And when you get that lead in that listing, you can still make a nice commission on it. But if there's actually room in the deal and it's like a great deal where we're helping someone and being able to get the home at a discount, then that is an opportunity that you can also benefit from and be a part of the equity ownership on that particular home.
Dude, I mean, like you said, that's huge. That's a game changer for real estate agents everywhere that want to have equity, that want to have, that want to be a principal in a deal rather than just get the commission only.
That's right.
Just, not only that, dude, but like even what you was talking about before about like how they changed the offer for some of these other cash offer companies. I literally just got a message from somebody. I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago, where they thought they was going to be getting this certain amount of money, and then like all of a sudden everything just changed, and it kind of showed me like the paperwork. I mean, it was taking like 65, seventy
Yep.
thousand dollars off the price of the offer. So
Yep.
like you think that you're getting this one offer, but it's not that real offer simply because, like you said, a lot of stuff is automated, and you might go into contract with the person. They might have some stipulations in there, and then next thing you know, you go pulling everything up, and it's like, oh well, we got to take off for this, and we got to take off for that, and this other thing got to be removed. I mean, Open Door just settled a huge lawsuit, or it was a lawsuit or settlement, just simply because they was misleading some of the homeowners. So that personal touch of somebody actually that can feel, that's going to go in the property and look at it, do a proper assessment, man, that's huge.
That's right. Yes, it is typically a bait and switch that we've seen. I've had many clients I've worked with, and a lot of times before I list the property, and I'm sure most other agents do the same. You go to Zillow Open Door. Let me see what they would offer even before I list it, so you maybe be able to sell it off market, and potentially get a good offer. And yes, you might get a decent offer for as is quick closing cash sale. But like you just mentioned, they'll come and assess the home, and then they might drop the price to order 50, 60K or more. So, we're significantly different in that aspect. Another thing I want to mention is the not just the flipping portion of what we partner with agents on. We also have another side where we can do profit sharing for rental properties. So let's say you come across a deal, and it's really priced, is priced great, or we can able to get it at a discount because it might be a distressed situation, but it's in a great school district. It's you look at rental comps, and rental comps look pretty strong, right? So that's something where you might say, hey, I might not want to flip something. I want cash flow, right? You capital gains on flipping a deal versus like you making money through cash flow. So we can partner with agents even on those deals. So if a deal is found, it looks like a great rental, it could be a great rental property in a great neighborhood. We can partner on the deal, and if we're able to rent that property out and clear a certain amount after expenses and after any other debt service or things like that are management costs, whatever profit is remaining, we do a profit split. So on average, agents can be looking at an order of $200 to $300 a month in cash flow from a rental property that they don't have to put any money into. You don't have to worry about management, and you don't have to worry about evictions or any kind of issues with tenants. We handle all of that. We have full property management staff. So we handle all of the maintenance. We handle all the leasing. We handle all of the issues that may arise. If there's any kind of issue with the tenant, we handle all those things, and all you do is sit back and collect cash flow every single month. So then when it comes time to sell the home, let's just say in 2 years, 3 years, we sell the home, and the home appreciates every year. Let's just say 6% or so appreciation every year. That home value has increased over those years. So now when it's time to sell, that means you get that much more profit because you still get your profit share. So you're going to get your monthly cash flow, and then you're going to get your profit share on the back end when that property is sold. So then you're going to get a nice check when it's time to sell. Now, all along, every year, you've been getting cash flow from that property. When taxes are done at the end of the year, there's something called accelerated depreciation. So in that first year of ownership, we'll be able to depreciate that home more than you would normally calculate depreciation. So we can accelerate that. So now you have more of a paper loss that you can put on against your income on your tax return. So now you owe less taxes to the government just because you have ownership in property. And this is one of those wealth tips that a lot of people may not know or understand, is that when you own property, you pay less taxes. Rental property, you pay less taxes. So that's a benefit that you can take advantage of, and that's almost can be looked at as more income that you're earning because you're saving more and paying it to the IRS. So you'll have cash flow, you'll have depreciation, and you will have your gains, your profit gains at the end when the property is sold. So that's another great feature of what our program can offer agents, to be able to partner on deals, be able to have rental income, passive rental income, and also be able to make money when a property is sold. And not to mention, like I said initially, when the property is purchased, you still earn a commission.
Man, I mean, it's a true partnership what you're offering. I mean, I'm just
Absolutely.
thinking about it. Like my head is spinning right now as you said about the possibilities. I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer for a real estate agent. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you just got to put in some sweat equity in the beginning, in order to find the property. But once you find the property, instead of you turning around and giving that to somebody else and let them get all the upswing, you can participate in that in and of itself. I mean, so. All right, so just kind of going into that aspect of it a little bit more, like what are some of the things that an agent, let's say I'm a real estate agent, and you know I get a deal that comes through. I like what do I got to do to be able to partner up with you on that particular deal? What's the process?
Okay. So yeah, so what we do is we have weekly webinars. So I do a weekly webinar on Thursdays, and when you post this, we can share the link. So every Thursday, I do a weekly webinar, and I kind of go through the training process of what you need to know to identify what a deal looks like. You know, being able to know how to approach sellers when you think there might be an opportunity, and then knowing how to present the offer. And what we do is set you up with that whole process on the training and learning how the process works, how we operate, learning about our company, learning about the resources and tools that we have available. So, you know, once you've kind of gone through some of the training that I provide and you kind of understand how we operate, I then do a one-on-one session with you. So we talk, we set up some meetings and we talk, and I explain to you and show you how to source the leads. And you get trained on how to market to those leads. So once you kind of created a system, and I help you put that system together on, this is how I'm going to run my marketing, this is how I'm going to reach out and contact these potential leads, and this is going to be my approach. You know, you won't get it right off. You know, you'll make little mistakes, but that's okay. It's all about consistency, and it's a numbers game. So we will help you, you know, cultivate and refine your approach until you start getting some deals. So we have leads. There's more than enough sources for you to find deals with good profit potential. And by that, I'm talking about to the order of $50,000 to $100,000 of profit potential. They're out there. The deals are there. We're seeing them. You know, we just put a deal under contract just a week or so ago. We have another deal on the way. I mean, the deal flow is there. I'm working with agents as we speak. You know, where there's one deal, there's about, you know, $70,000 or $80,000 of potential profit. That agent is going to be entitled to 20% of that, so they're going to make about $16,000 more dollars in addition to the 4% they made when it was purchased. They're going to make a good 16 to 20,000 on the back end when we sell this. Now let's talk about timeline. You know, by the time you find a deal and we present the offer, we're talking about closing in about five days. You know, closing in about 5 days, as quick as we can get a clear title. You know, we're closing in 5 days. We're starting rehab work right away. Like day one, once we close, we're in the house and we're starting to do work. So we're able to turn around homes and get them market ready within 7 to 10 days. After that, we look at days on market, and maybe we might be in the range of just say 15 to 30 days. So let's just say it's on the market for, you know, another two weeks or so, 3 weeks. And then the closing process, because more than likely the buyer of the home probably will be getting financing. So let's just say another 30 days on the back end. So you're talking about maybe at most 2 months, you know, and within 2 months, you're going to get a nice size check. And you didn't really have to do anything but just sit there and find the deal. That's all you really have to do. But again, I always say you can get involved, and I encourage it. You can get as involved as you like. And if you want to know the day by day process of the renovation, if you want to understand how we're working with some of the financing, if you want to understand, you know, more about the sales process or the deal sourcing process, we're here to help you and show you how to do it. So if you ever wanted to do this on your own and independent with your own money or your own capital and your own resources and credit, then you can do that. So we're all about growth and we're all about partnerships. So the more I give, I know it'll come back. So I'm an open book. I provide mentorship for anybody that's serious about getting into the investment world. So, we're here to help and give you all the resources you need for success.
Man, I mean, like I said, the program sounds amazing. Like I said, it's pretty much, in my book, I would say it's a no-brainer. I mean, for anybody to, want to do it, but more so than anything, partner with somebody that's pretty much doing most of the things for you. Just to be
Yeah,
honest,
that's
with
it.
you. I
That's
mean,
it.
you can just
We
break
put
it down.
training wheels on you. So what I'm trying to do is make sure agents don't have an excuse. Everybody always has an excuse. I can't invest. I can't do this because I have to go and get these commissions, or I have to, you're going from deal to deal, commission check to commission check, versus saying like you have to be doing something to prepare yourself for retirement. You're going to come to a point where you might not be able to do what you're currently doing to earn income. So you have to start thinking about ways to make more and invest that capital, invest that money into ways for those dollars to be working for you versus you working for the dollars. It has to be almost a combination of the two things as you kind of go through your career as an agent and you're building your book of business, you're building your income, and you at the same time, while you're building your income, you need to be working on ways to build that passive side. So you are building a portfolio in the background, and it will be able to support you when you're ready to say, "Hey, I'm not trying to do transactions anymore. I'm trying to get out of production, and now I'm trying to get more on just having more passive income for my family."
Dude, I mean, this what you're saying. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, it helps agents on all levels, right? I mean, it helps the new agent because you're going to learn how to get business from this program in order to market yourself, and you're going to be building wealth. It helps the agent that actually been an agent for a while that hasn't, maybe they're busy or whatever, but they don't have anything to help them with retirement, help them to get to the next level. I mean, we all know those agents, and not to, you know, be ages or whatever, but they're 60, 70, 60, 70 years old and they're still popping lock boxes. It's
Right.
not because they like to, it's because they have to do it, and they just really haven't, built something that's going to work for them while they're not working. And that's basically what you're building with them right now is something that's going to work in the background where at some point they're not going to have to pop lock boxes. They can spend more time with family. They can spend more time doing the things that they really want to do than necessarily the things they have to do.
That's it.
That's it.
Investing has become more of a trend, on social media and everything, especially with the meme stocks and everything. And people would be investing in, GameStop, and people investing in crypto, and people investing in things. And I do believe in diversifying. That's great. Having a stock portfolio, diversifying your investments is great. But I'm talking to real estate agents that are serious. If you're serious about what you're doing in the real estate industry, and you want to take it to the next level, why would you go outside of your industry? The way to assure success is for yourself is to be an expert at what you do. Be the best at what you do. So the more you diversify yourself, and my principle is kind of what Warren Buffett says of, I don't invest in things I don't fully understand. I've been in real estate a long time and I plan to stay in the industry. So I'm going to keep learning. I'm going to keep increasing my knowledge. I'm going to keep, trying to diversify what I do within my industry. And that's what I suggest to people. If you want a good investment strategy for the future, don't try to go and you're doing real estate, but then you're trying to learn how to invest in, different crypto things that you might not fully understand, or you might try to go invest in these things just because you hear the hot thing on the street. Real estate sometimes can seem boring, and people like what's new and exciting and cutting edge. I stick to what works and what's been proven, for the past, however long, for the history of time. Real estate is the earth. The earth is going nowhere, and real estate it also diversifies off of every industry. that's something I let people know. It's like when you get into real estate, it is the foundational industry for almost every other industry. Every industry needs real estate, you know? So if you think of it that way, you can understand when you understand more about your industry, you tap into the world, you tap into everything in a literal sense, you know? So I say be the best at real estate, understand it, and invest in real estate, you know? And the what we're doing is a conduit for you to get into it without having that, because usually it's a barrier of entry, and that's the main reason most people don't do it, because of the barrier of entry. It's
Yep.
easy to invest in stock. You just go on Robinhood. It's easy to invest in crypto. You just go to one of the exchanges and buy some crypto, or go to Cash App and buy some crypto. People say, I can't buy real estate, I don't have the money, I don't have the credit. We're eliminating that barrier of entry, and that is the main thing of why we established this program, is to make sure we eliminate that barrier of entry and give agents and people opportunities to invest, having no excuses, just putting in the sweat equity, like you mentioned, and having the knowledge that you're going to need anyway. So we're providing that and allowing people to take their income to the next level.
Well, dude, man, I mean, hey, this has been great.
Yeah.
We're going to put the link in the chat for anybody that wants to jump on Trent's webinar and learn how to partner with him on this and how to grow your wealth. I mean, because that's what we're talking about right now. I mean, keyword, owning the earth. I love that part. So,
That's it.
so so, like I said, we do these every Thursday at 11 o'clock where we're interviewing an agent that's killing it. I mean, if you want to know more about how, real estate in general, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Trent. You want to know about partnership, you can reach out to Trent. You can reach out to me. Like I said, we're just strictly here to share and give information to provide value. Appreciate you again, Trent, man. Keep killing it out there, dude. I'm
Yes,
really
sir.
looking forward to this program, dude. You got to come back, dude. When you get a big number of agents that all of a sudden that's getting money coming in on a regular basis, flipping deals, ownership. I mean, you got to come back, dude, and let us know how it's going.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
All right.